Hi everyone, welcome to Lei's Looking Glass. I'm Lei. Today we'll dive into one of the most explosive and emotionally charged cases in China right now. A court ruling that's taken the internet by storm and shaken the very foundations of how Chinese men and women interact today. It's being called the engagement rape case, and it happened in Datong, Shanxi. The verdict has triggered outrage across the country. On social media, many men are asking the same question: who dares dating anymore? Sounds dramatic? Maybe, but once you hear the details, you might understand why that fear is spreading. Back in January 2023, a man named Xi met a woman surnamed Wu through a matchmaking agency. Things went pretty well. A few months later, on May 1st, the man's family hosted an official engagement banquet. As part of the custom, the man's family gave his future bride's family a 200,000 yuan bridal gift, along with a gold ring. They even signed a formal engagement agreement, which stipulated that half of the bride's gift, or 100,000 yuan, is to be paid at engagement. The other half will be paid after the wedding. If the man backs out the engagement, the first 100,000 yuan is non-refundable. If the woman backs out, she must return the money. And the man promised to add the woman's name to the marital property deed 1 year after the wedding. I know such engagement agreement sounds like a commercial contract and totally outrageous by Western standard, but it's typical in today's China. The day after the engagement, the woman's family hosted a return banquet for the man's relatives. Afterward, the engaged couple went to their future home, an apartment in a tall building. The woman had already moved in some personal belongings: toiletries, couple's items, even a wedding bed. Surveillance footage showed the two being physically affectionate in the elevator, hugging and kissing. Nothing looked unusual for a couple that just got engaged. But by the time they came back down the elevator, the woman accused her fiancé of rape. The man said they were intimate but denied having sex with her. But the attention the case received isn't so much about what happened between the two. It was about the demand the woman made about the remaining bride's money. She asked it to be paid up front and wanted her name added to the property deed immediately. According to some reports, she threatened that if those demands weren't met, she would go to the police. The man's family refused, and after an argument, she followed through and filed the report. A judge later described a slightly different version. The woman's family pushed for a sooner marriage and were okay with delaying the second payment, but still insisted on adding her name to the deed early. These details became a flashpoint. Many people saw it as a red flag. Was this ever really about marriage? And the man presented everything he could: the engagement contract, chat records, surveillance footage, even medical records proving his innocence. But the court ruled against him. The final judgment? Rape, and he was given a 3-year sentence. The official reasoning? He violated the woman's will. Chinese men flooded the internet with outrage. One viral comment summed it up. Was this an engagement or a rape package deal? You lose the bride's money and go to jail. From now on, every date needs to be fully documented and recorded. But others responded with a warning: don't be so naive. Even audio and video evidence can save you. They were referring to another notorious case, the Nanchang University incident. Let me take you back to 2022, to a case from Nanchang that lit the internet on fire. It involved 2 college students. A young man helped his classmate fix her phone, and over time, their conversations became flirtatious. The chat logs were full of flirts, and at one point, the girl even sent him provocative selfies. Then one day, she stopped by his dorm to pick up her repaired phone. That day, they had sex. The next morning, she asked him to make their relationship official. He said no. And just like that, she accused him of rape. He was convicted. The first trial gave him 6 years in prison. On appeal, it was reduced to 3 years with 3 years probation. But here's what made the case shocking and unbelievable. He had a 21-minute audio recording capturing the entire encounter. In it, she sounded enthusiastic and in control. Security footage even showed the two walking hand in hand afterward, laughing. Still, the court ruled. The woman expressed non-consent afterward. Prior chat records and behavior do not constitute legal consent. One man wrote, "What's the point of having evidence? If consent can be retroactively denied, then the law is meaningless." And it didn't stop there. In 2021, a young man named Xiaochen in Shenzhen was accused of rape by his ex-girlfriend. After they had already broken up, Xiaochen came prepared and submitted video footage of their intimate time. She was clearly comfortable, laughing, joking, fully engaged. But in court, she brought a psychological evaluation, claiming she was mentally unstable at the time and therefore could not legally consent. Despite the video, Xiaochen was sent to 4 years in prison. When he was released, he posted this online. "I thought the video would prove my innocence. I was wrong. Now I don't even dare hold a woman's hand." And Xiaochen isn't the only man feeling that way. In 2023, a young man in Shanghai got engaged and handed over a 300,000 yuan bride's gift to the woman's family. They took wedding photos. The marriage was planned for the end of the year. Then the woman backed out. She kept the money and accused him of rape. In court, she presented a depression diagnosis, claiming she wasn't mentally stable and had not truly agreed to the relationship. The result? He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The 300,000 yuan? Gone. And now Chinese netizens are joking, well, only half joking, about what dating will look like in China. A nervous young woman asks his date, "Before we date, how many consent forms do I need to sign? And how many cameras will you have running?" The guy replies, "Do you have any psychiatric diagnosis I should know about? I can't afford to get into a relationship and then end up in prison." It sounds ridiculous, but it reflects something real. Dating in China is starting to feel like defensive dating, where love comes second to legal protection. A major contributor to the problem has to do with China's custom of bride's gift. I'm talking about caili. Before 1949, when the CCP took control, caili was simply a Chinese marriage custom evolved from a Zhou dynasty ritual called pinli. The gift wasn't about wealth. It's a gesture and a token of commitment to the bride. It was about the man's respect for the bride's parents for having raised her. Under the CCP's rule, the practice of bride's gift all but disappeared for decades, swept away by political campaigns that abolished old traditions. But in the last 20 years, it came roaring back. Why? Because there are more men than women in China, and women now have market power in marriage. They can set the terms, and those terms often come with a price tag. But, and this is important, modern caili is nothing like the traditional kind. Traditionally, after engagement, the groom's family would give the bride's family an amount of money called the bride's gift. The bride's family would use it to prepare a dowry, and in many regions, the dowry would match or even exceed the caili. It was a two-way exchange. The man gives money as a sign of commitment. The woman's family returns it as a sign of goodwill. It's about mutual respect, like the old saying, 礼尚往来. Rituals must go both ways. What matters is the intention behind them. But today, that meaning is gone. The word caili is made up of two parts. Cai means money. Li means ritual or respect. Modern China has kept the money, but thrown away the respect. Bride's price has become a blunt financial demand, According to China Economic Weekly, brides' prices in some regions have now soared to between 200 and 500,000 yuan, which is about 27,000 to 70,000 US dollars. That's more than most ordinary families can afford. And for many rural areas, this custom has become a living nightmare. In 2024, rural residents have an average annual income of just 21,000 yuan, while the starting price for marriage in many places is 10 times that. What made the situation even worse is a larger societal shift, decades of state-driven feminism in China. Didn't Mao Zedong once say that he has liberated Chinese women? Maybe, but the consequences are disastrous. Take this real case from Beijing. In 2022, a man named Wang met a woman at a bar. After some drinks, they went back to a hotel and had sex. The next day, she called the police. In court, she admitted she had been drinking, but said, "Being drunk doesn't mean I gave consent." The man said she was conscious and even made the first move, but the court ruled against him. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Afterward, his sister posted online, "My brother's life is over. These laws protect only women. Men don't stand a chance." Her post went viral, and a firestorm of debate followed. People ask, where's the legal bottom line in China? But the truth is, China's legal system was never truly rooted in law. Too often, it's not the law that decides, but the opinions of local officials, the politics of the moment, or the attitude of the judge, or the amount of bribe paid. Justice becomes a matter of how low the individual judge is willing to go. In that kind of environment, a fair trial is a coin toss. But I don't think this is just a legal problem. It's a cultural collapse after the CCP destroyed traditional values and shattered the foundations of trust. Marriage in China is no longer about love or commitment. It's become a financial transaction, a merger between two families. Sex has become leverage. Love becomes last, after the money, after the contracts, and after the evidence. What was once a symbol of commitment has become a financial guarantee. Marriage is now treated like an investment contract with expected returns. And in that system, men are often at a disadvantage simply because there are too many of them. But that's not their fault. That's why I'm taking a stand for men in this program, not because I'm against women, but because we need fairness. Yes, some women suffer from domestic violence, but men are being hurt too by exorbitant bride's price, tiger wives, false accusations, emotional blackmail, and rigged legal outcomes. In this chaos, it's not men versus women. When men lose interest in relationships, women suffer too. They feel lonely, disconnected, and left behind. What we're witnessing is a moral collapse, not just between genders, but across all of society. It's one cracked mirror in a much bigger breakdown. Leave me comments and let me know what you think. If you like my program, please like and subscribe. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.